present-day Enugu, Anambra, Ebonyi, Abia, and Imo states. There are also pockets of Igbo settlements in Delta and Rivers states. There had been several claims as to the origin of the Igbo. While some claim that the Igbos are descendants of the Jews who came down in different pockets and settled in southeastern Nigeria, others claim that the Igbo nation originated in Nigeria. Arochukwu is believed to be the oldest Igbo town, though they had a lot in common with the white men who came down through Calabar for trade and government. They are called the Aro Okigbo, Aro, the strength of the Igbo. While some people claim that the Aros are sojourners all the way from Phoenix and the Lower Congo, others hold otherwise. The Onitsha Igbo is believed to have come from Benin Kingdom. This claim too has raised controversy, but it is yet a more controversial issue why the Onitsha people till date refer to other Igbos as Nwonyi Igbo, Igbo man's offspring. Does it simply mean that the Onitsha person still knows his origin as non-Igbo? Because of the similarities in custom and physique, scholars have traced the Igbo nation to Jewish backgrounds. Also, the Igbo way of reasoning is similar to that of the Jews. But there are two major towns contesting for the origin of the Igbo nation. They are Nri in the present-day Anambra state and Arochukwu in Abia state. In essence, the view that the Igbo man did not migrate from a certain hinterland is more tap-rooted, based on archaeological findings. Those who wrote and pronounced Igbo are Europeans looking for easy pronunciation because of the difficulty they have with GB, we. Others are pro-European Africans or Eurocentric Igbo scholars. Same way, many Igbo names were wrongly spelled and pronounced by the colonial masters for want of ease. In any case, we are not Igbos, but Igbos. That is the undiluted name of the most enterprising ethnic group in Nigeria. We also have the most sophisticated philosophy in Black Africa, a life of myths, legends, metaphors, and beliefs, a life of theories and practicals on equal proportion. Welcome to Igbo Metaphysics, an aspect of African philosophy.
Igbo when? Yeah! Igbo when? Yeah! Igbo when? Chukwu obioma. Na-akpọkụ ugbu a bịa dahụrụ mmanya. Ise. Were ife akụ ife nwenwe were gosi ụmụ bịa hụrụ mmanya n'o. Ise. Ka nwatakịrị a weta ewu ya. Owe. Oh, busy. Ah, abịa. Chukwu obioma. Bịa ife ji weta go.
We've just witnessed a ritual that involves the entire community of being, that is, the unseen beings, referred to as Ndemo, and the living beings, the kindred here gathered. This scenario gives us an indication of the Igbo idea of being. We are involved in an interesting process here to explore the possibility of a successful philosophical investigation into the Igbo people's way of life, and our point of departure is to seek an understanding of the Igbo people's respect for their ancestors and traditional rites.
The feasting and dancing is over, and the rest of the kindred have all retired to their respective homes, except the three elders here, who will lead us to the wisdom that we seek, an understanding of the Igbo people's respect for their ancestors and their traditional rites.
Elder Nwokolo Njoku is 97 years old, from Kirifi town in Nkanu. He is a farmer and practices African traditional religion.
Thank you, you're welcome.
Elder Nweke Asu, he's 87 years old,
from Amauzam town in Nkanu. He is also a farmer and practices African traditional religion.
You are welcome.
Elder Animwede Onovo is 70 years old, from Amagunze town in Nkanu, also a farmer and practices African traditional religion.
Thank you.
Our three elders represent the views of over 300 Nkanu elders interviewed over a period of 2 years on key issues relating to the rites, rituals, customary observances, and traditional idiosyncrasies of the Igbos.
Supposing some of your people need some favors, to whom do they pray for help?
First to Anne, then Ichuku, then Ancestral, and Anubu Imuhu.
It is Ani Obunago. Nechengen. Igwekan. Abalumanyang.
Can we hear from you?
It's either you go through the ancestors or through Ani, the land goddess, the various calls of Juju, and then finally you go to Chineke.
Our elders mention names of superhuman powers whom the Igbos invoke in prayer. 3 of the names, Chukwu, Abalomwanyanwu, and Chineke, are reserved for the Supreme Being.
Of all the superpowers that you invoke in prayer, which of them comes more to your aid than the ancestors?
Yes, Anne.
It is Abalumanyang.
Elder Onovo, can we hear from you?
It's rather difficult to answer, but you can never tell for sure who comes first to aid the person in need.
Why are the ancestors usually buried either during morning or evening period?
It is believed that morning and evening are peaceful. And anyone buried during those 2 periods are generally peaceful themselves. They will not do anything harmful to their living ones.
They are buried in the morning if he has children. But if not, they bury them in the evening.
People can be buried at any time, but you don't bury young men at noon because it is believed that they will slap people's faces and attack people at random.
What is the general idea from the response so far? It is that the dead can have something to do with their families in the land of the living. Now back to our elders.
Elders, our next question is, why are the ancestors normally buried in their homestead and not in a common burial ground?
It is believed that they are guardians of their families. And so they protect the family as they did when they were alive.
I don't have an answer for that.
The ancestors live a normal life even after death. And to bury them in their homestead is to allow them the opportunity to continue mixing with their loved ones.
What do we have here? a strong indication that for the Igbos there is a communication between the visible world and the invisible world. We also get a clue to the relationship between the living and the dead, the community of being in the visible world and that in the world of the unseen.
Well, now let's consider this scenario.
Chukwu okike ana m ekene gị dịka isi ike ezigbote nkwụ nke tatala ezigbo mmanya nke nne n'elu mbọsị keta wee na-asị gị mmasị dịrị gị onye kere ụwa ise. Abashidlen
Why do you people throw some food or drink on the ground before eating or drinking?
It is a sort of prayer for our ancestors to come and eat with us. Also, as a libation to our ancestors, and also as a sort of prayer to Annie.
We first of all offer to our ancestors and our gods for security.
The offering is a sort of appeasement to the goddess in charge of the land, Annie, who is the special patron of the farmers and the palm wine tappers.
Elder Njoku said in his response, a sort of prayer to our ancestors to come and eat with us. That's the point of interest here. To come and eat with us. This expression gives the impression that beings in the invisible world perform acts like those in the visible world. This will help us understand the theory of Igbo duality much later. For now, let's proceed with this discourse.
Does death affect the character of the dead? Take, for instance, when somebody is wicked or cunning during his lifetime, will he also be wicked and cunning in the spirit world?
Not always so, especially to his family.
No, he will change. Dika enowa, as our people would say. He will no longer be cunning or wicked.
It is believed that the spirit of the wicked one becomes kind, and the spirit of the kind one becomes wicked. So it goes all the way around.
In what ways then do the ancestors make themselves seen and felt in the family?
They do this by protecting the family, by bringing sort of wealth to the family, by reincarnating the children in the family, or their sons, or even their daughters.
They reincarnate in their families.
They appear to them through dreams or through fortune tellers.
This is very revealing. What is indicated here is that there must be a place where the dead stay and from where they can communicate with their families here on earth.
How are the spirits of dead children, unmarried boys and unmarried girls, how are they regarded?
They are bad spirits.
They are regarded as unclean because they did not die a good death and did not leave any achievement for their clan.
The problem is that they die untimely and nobody seems to bother about them. That is why their parents take the stand they are taking by despising them.
We decipher yet another clue, the Igbo idea of bad spirits, which we shall explore much later. I have yet another question.
Why do your people name their children after the ancestors?
It is because they want the names of the ancestors to continue going on.
So that the names of the ancestors will not be forgotten. Echi, as our people say.
It's a sign of respect. And they do so predominantly so as to attract favors from the ancestors.
We have yet another revelation. The fact that among the Igbos, names carry some meaning and history behind them.
Do the ancestors intervene to enforce the ethics of culture among the kingsmen on earth?
Yes, they harass either the eldest member of the family, eldest living member of the family, or dream, or through the work of the Libya. That is what they do.
Yes, they do that by punishing those who infringe on the laws of the land.
Omenani is the Igbo deeper understanding of the English concept of tradition, a concept we shall also explore later.
Thank you, my elders. It has been very revealing. We have engaged ourselves in Igbo metaphysics, particularly exploring the people's respect for their ancestors and their traditional rites. Now, what is the sum of all this present discourse? It is the fact that the Igbo idea of being promotes the strong relationship between the dead and the living, the unseen beings and the living ones.
Is there such a concept as an Igbo metaphysics? This question provoked an explicit investigation in 1980, where appropriate questionnaires were drafted, personal interviews with people of all ranks,